What's good, y'all? It's me, Chris, back here with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the 2020 BET Awards. But before we get into that, if you're active on social media and you like to follow me on my other social media platforms, you can check out my Twitter and my Instagram. And while y'all are here, you can check out some of my recent videos. I did a video talking about Chloe and Halle's Ungodly Hour. Immaculate. I also had discussed the season finale of Insecure and also discussed why Nicki Minaj is a narcissist and doesn't care about any criticism. So y'all go ahead and check out those videos. So today we're going to be talking about the BET Awards. They announced about a few weeks ago that Amanda Seales was going to be hosting the BET Awards via Twitter and all other social media platforms, and I was like, "Oh, the BET Awards are still happening." I didn't even think that. I just had assumed that any event planned for this year was going to be canceled. But it made sense for BET Award to take a turn at this. We've seen a lot of digital events going on. We saw YouTube throw a grad ceremony for the class of 2020. We've also saw the channel ABC. They did a Disney sing-along. We've seen multiple panels on Zoom, multiple discussions happen down on many social media platforms. So I was with it. I was definitely excited to see what BET was going to be presenting with us. I was very excited to see Amanda Seales get an opportunity to host. I know she said in the past some questionable things, and I know she's inconsistent, and I know she's friends with Charlemagne, a whole ass misogynist and rapist, and alleged. But I do like Amanda Seales overall, and I thought that this was going to be a good fit for her. Sucks that she wasn't able to actually host on a live show and that she had to do it digitally. But either way, I definitely was excited to see what was to come from the BET Awards. So I was excited for this. So we're going to get into it. If I don't talk about your faves, it's because I didn't find them interesting or I didn't know who they were. There was a lot of new people. They didn't really have a whole lot of like huge names to draw in. A lot of the talent on the show is relatively new, which is also nice to be highlighting like the next generation of black talent. I wasn't mad at it, but I definitely would have preferred a little bit more of a balance when it comes to the amount of people that I recognize on the TV screen. So we get this opener of the Fight the Power that is from Public Enemy. We get to see Flavor Flav. We get to see Nas. There's Rhapsody. I believe Questlove was there. And this is great. This has been a message from like the 80s of fight the power, fight the system of racism, police brutality, systemic state-sanctioned violence. But I really want to push back that we should be fighting all systems of power, all systems in which there are people who are privileged and systemic oppression happens. Like, we should be fighting homophobia, we should be fighting transphobia, we should be fighting misogyny, classism, fatphobia. Like, I just want us to be mindful of that. Sometimes it's like racism is positioned as if it's the be all systemic oppression, if it's like the perfect way to dismantle white supremacy. But like, when I tell you that all like white supremacy is an octopus and all these legs of systemic oppression, like if you cut one off, the octopus still has its head. So we should be mindful that all of them are equal and literally kill people daily. So I just want us to be mindful of the messaging. As far as Amanda Seales goes, I'll comment about her routine throughout this video, but I really thought that she was kind of corny and annoying. I don't know if she was trying to like play into that critique that people have of her, but it came very much like annoying. I know that she was supposed to be giving tribute to a lot of like 90s sitcoms and 90s like early 2000 BET productions, but it to me seemed very forced. I think that she set up her set as more of a stand-up set with like punchlines, but there's no audience to play off of. And I think it would have been better had it been more conversational, kind of like a YouTube video. Like, there are YouTubers in which their commentary are just their jokes are just embedded into their commentary, and it's a nice natural flow. There was definitely like like I said, there was setups in which there was supposed to be a punchline and she had like a pause. And I'm like, you don't have an audience. Like, you don't have to wait for us to react. Like when I watch a YouTube video of a commentator, it's just rolling. There's no waiting for the audience to react because you don't have an audience in front of you. It's a conversation. So that would be my one critique about Amanda Seales as far as like just getting things going. We get the first performance of Roddy Ricch. That man plays the piano. I said, oh damn, we got a talented nigga on our hands. Okay. And then in his performance there was a bunch of dark skinned girls. I'm like, look at this. Are we in the 90s? It was impressive. He then transitioned into like the whole like Black Lives Matters. Whoa. We got hit on our head a lot with Black Lives Matters. I'll talk about that. But I did enjoy Roddy Ricch's performance overall. Great opener. We then moved to like a commercial or like a commentary that's we're supposed to have a celebratory moment. And we find out that Princeton has its first black valedictorian in 274 years. I know we should be celebrating this, but honestly, that institution should be ashamed of themselves. 274 years. Two, with a two. Slavery started 450 years ago, so I'm not getting the time span in which y'all decided to finally value black people to be leading a graduation and actually have something important to say. We've been speaking on shit for years. Congrats to the young man in which him becoming the valedictorian, but shame on Princeton for just now recognizing black people with this position. It's shameful. We see next John Legend's performance. That you're going to see a lot of these performances. I don't necessarily have too much to say, but I will say I was like, whoa, money well spent on John Legend. Great, high production value, and you see that it be a common thread of a lot of these performances. Great. There was a lot of commercials during this, and I know that it's still like a televised event. But god damn, like all the celebrities were talking about PG&E sponsoring certain segments of the show. You would think that that was enough advertiser dollars. There was a lot of partnering with brands and companies as well. Like we definitely could have lessened on the commercials. We had a Karen skit. I would have preferred like a set from Amanda with some commentary on white women. I've seen Amanda perform live and I've also watched her HBO show. She had went on tour before the HBO special had premiered and it was pretty much the same material, which was expected. The majority of people who probably saw that special didn't go see Amanda touring, but she has some great commentary on like white womanhood, and I would have preferred a set than like this skit. I'm like, get these white women off my screen, please. They had a segment in which they wanted to highlight artists and performers in which they've been bringing people together. They showcased D Nice, who was a DJ, and he's been throwing a bunch of Instagram live sesh. They also highlighted Timberland and Swiss Beats. They've been hosting a bunch of the versus challenges on Instagram, and like definitely for sure have been bringing a lot of community together in times of this pandemic and these protests that have been giving us a nice relief. However, I thought it was interesting that all the people who brought people together were black men. Like, do black women not bring? Black women are very much like the foundation of our community and our culture, and I think it's interesting that black women were not highlighted in bringing us together. DJ Khaled, get that man off my screen. Get him off my screen. I guess he won an award for some type of hip hop. I don't know, like every non-black person that was on my screen, I wanted them to stop talking. Like, does BET know that this man is not black? Do black people know that this man is not black? Like, he has a lot of space in the hip hop industry for someone who is not black. And he was saying Black Lives Matter. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, sorry. Next, Meg The Stallion. Lovely performance. She gave us a whole show. She took us on a journey. She was giving us Mad Max Road Fury. I just appreciated all the background dancers wearing masks. Very captivating. I I appreciated the rock elements in her Savage performance. Kind of sucked that there was no Beyonce. Beyonce has still been very silent in acknowledging the Savage song. Like, it's almost as if Beyonce is just like doesn't want to acknowledge it. It's very interesting, but I love Megan's performance. She looked good. She's commanding as always, and I very much appreciate Megan The Stallion. I just feel like, oh, does she do any wrong? Does Megan The Stallion do any wrong? I love her. Give her all the things. She is just such a talented, so grateful, so appreciative. Like, you can tell she does this for us. When she was accepting her award, she was thanking the hotties and thanking her fans. You can tell she is just like so happy and grateful to be doing this and getting all the acknowledgments. Like, you could tell she takes her craft very seriously. I love Megan Thee Stallion. Naomi Campbell had was presenting an award, and her phone was on vertical mode. I was like, did somebody want to tell her to switch to landscape? Like, flip it and reverse it real quick. She was like, nah, you're gonna get all this body. You're gonna get all of this. So that was funny. DaBaby performed, and he started off his performance with reenacting George Floyd's death. I hate niggas. Like, this was so distasteful. So distasteful. So tone deaf. Triggering for a lot of black people. Like, at bare minimum, you should have put a trigger warning. I'm like, this just happened. This just happened. And you are reenacting a violent death. And the nerve of you paying some white man to do this to you. Bruh, I'm sick of this. And then it transitioned into like a Black Lives Matter aesthetic during the whole entire performance. Honestly, for me personally, it's lazy. It's very unimaginative. I just want more. Like, it's just too much nail in the head. Like, we see this imagery every single day in the news and social media. Those of us that are tapped into this, you're not doing anything new. You're not reinventing the wheel. At the end of his performance, there was a young black girl who brought out a sign that said "More love." Tired messaging. Tired messaging. More love. More love. I don't need more love. I need resources. I don't need you to love me. I need you to see my humanity and see that I exist. I don't need love. Because constantly white people will absolve themselves with, I love black people. I have a black husband. I got a black friend. I got a black partner. I got black children. I love, 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 love. Yet there still is no attention and care and concern about black people as a whole. So I don't want more love. That's not a solution to me. I want resources. We get J Hud. Spiritual and gospel moment as per usual. I know a lot of y'all be critiquing her and say that she's a loud singer, but I just look at her as a powerful singer. We also got that accompanied with the Aretha Franklin trailer for the movie Respect. It says that it's supposed to still come out theaters in December. We'll see. We might be getting a straight video demand release. This COVID is definitely bringing us into 2021. So we'll see. We got a Little Richard tribute, and it was done by Wayne Brady. Now, the man is talented. I don't know if a lot of people know him as like a performer. People might know him as like a host, personality, stand-up comic actor. But the man can sing. He was on Broadway. He starred in Puss in Boots. Like, he is very much talented. I don't think people recognize how multifaceted and talented this man is. But why him? Why Wayne Brady? There's a lot of people I would have thought when it comes to Little Richard, and Wayne Brady was not one of them. I don't know if it's being ageist, but like, where's Miguel? Y'all never have Miguel for clearly artists that are very much inspired by these legends who have passed. Y'all never get Miguel. Where was Miguel for the Prince tribute? Where was Miguel for Little Richard? Get that man in here. He ain't doing nothing but annoying motherfuckers on IG anyway with his annoying ass stories. But get that man in here. Little Miguel should have done this. That performance led us into the memoriam. We got to see all the celebrities that have passed this year. It keeps blowing my mind that Kobe Bryant is no longer with us. That he died this year. There's been so much happening this year. It really blew. That's pretty much how we started Black History Month, was with Kobe Bryant's death. But wow, 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 wow! I can't believe we've lost so many talented Black people this year. People say that every year, but it definitely feels like it hit harder, even more so this year. Lil Wayne also performed with the contribution towards the memoriam, and to that I say, fuck that nigga. Fuck him. Any analysis that Lil Wayne has contributed to Black liberation has been piss poor. Piss poor. Performative at best. Just operating out of ignorance. I don't know why they had somebody like him singing, rapping a tribute and talking about Black Lives Matter. No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't to you. You've made that plenty clear before. And finally, the queens arrive. The main event, in my head at least. Chloe and Halle came to motherfucking slay. When I tell you they woke the girls up, when I tell you I was asleep and halfway depressed from the constant being assaulted with all this Black Lives Matters. I'm gonna say this before I get into Chloe Halle's performance. I just really thought that there was just so much Black Lives Matter, and I get it. We gotta talk about this stuff to an extent. That's a lot of huge part of my channel. That is very much a conversations that I have in my everyday life. So I think yes, it's very necessary. But like, this is an awards show. We should have this be a moment of celebrating. Like, I don't know, there just wasn't a whole lot of joy. So I appreciate it. Chloe and Halle coming up, waking up the girls, giving us what we needed, energy, joy, celebrating talent. They performed Forgive Me and Do It. They gave us choreography. It was presence. It was captivating. Oh, I love Chloe Halle. Y'all know I'm a Chloe Halle stan. If you follow me on Twitter, I pretty much tweet them at least 5 to 7 days a week, constantly. They had a wardrobe change and a set change. And then we got a dance battle at the end. Yo, Chloe and Halle dogged while Chloe and Halle in that dance battle. That the way they transitioned in between, oh, it was so good. It was so good. And love Chloe and Halle. Please stream Ungodly Hour if y'all haven't. My favorite. We next followed up finally with another performance that was waking up the girls, and that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, was Summer Walker. This is her element. This is what we've been telling her she should do, because clearly y'all remember all that debacle with her live performances. She just has a lot of anxiety, which is totally fine. But this is what we were talking about. Like, there's ways in which you can still continue your artistry and performance that still makes you relevant. And you can see her in this element. I thought that this was such a redeeming moment. She started off with a solo track, like just a single, and then she transitioned to her Come Through single with Usher. It was really dope because she was singing the original lyrics, Make Me Wanna, with her beat, and then we transitioned to Usher singing the lyrics on Come Through, and then they came together. So good. I appreciate Summer Walker and Usher having this redeeming moment. It was great. Love Summer Walker as well. She's had a hard year after her second album, but it was nice to see her still talented as per usual. There was a lot of weird messaging during this show. Like, BET came up with a slogan called "Our culture can't be canceled." Like, I hate that y'all even discovered the term cancel culture. Like, every single time it's hijacked and misinterpreted constantly. Like, people aren't trying to cancel black people. Black people are not trying to get canceled. We're trying to cancel white supremacy, systemic oppression, ways in which people are harmful and violent towards others in the way that they exist. That's what's trying to be canceled. Like, Just stop it. People just want to use whatever phrasing, make up shit constantly, and it's weird. There was a lot of that during this BET award show. Moving on, we get to see Michelle Obama. She is there to present the humanitarian award to Beyonce. Michelle Obama looked so good. I really loved her hair. Great seeing her. I do have a weird gripe about the term humanitarian and us like celebrating and uplifting that. It's interesting that just being a decent human is being celebrated. Like, I'm so grateful for the work that Beyonce does, but as far as somebody who is constantly at work and challenging the system, like in comparison to people who are studying the systems, who speak out against it, who organize, who are doing the work to really dismantle the systems, who are talking to like local politicians, who are doing a lot of the groundwork, who are really dismantling the systems, right? Like, I think we should be more focused on celebrating. I don't want to say uplifting because we definitely don't need any idols in doing revolutionary work, but I definitely think it's interesting in which we highlight humanitarian behavior as just being a decent human being when there's people who are putting their lives out, when there are people who are literally giving their all into dismantling these harmful systems. I think that we could just be more mindful. Maybe we should not have humanitarian awards anymore, especially considering that people like Nipsey Hussle got a humanitarian award. Sorry, y'all gonna be mad, but that man was homophobic. Very, very much homophobic to my community, towards black LGBT people. Um, so, how decent was he really? Anywho, that's my thoughts on being a humanitarian, just being a decent human being. It's weird that that's celebrated so much. We wouldn't celebrate white people for using their privilege and using their platform and using their wealth to uplift marginalized communities. I don't know why we're doing it with Beyonce and other celebrities as well. Anywho, y'all know Beyonce is my queen. I love Beyonce. I don't have any problems with people critiquing her because Beyonce don't pay me. I'm not on her payroll. I love her. I don't feel the need to defend her. I love all the critiques that go towards her. They're all fair and valid, and people are just having conversations. So my critiques here as well, whatever I have to say about Beyonce and her humanitarian award, don't matter because they're unfazed. I promise you, she don't know who I am, or none of y'all who defend her constantly when people bring up critiques about her being a capitalist and in the which way she decides to contribute back to the black community. Get a grip. But Beyonce was there. She looked gorgeous. The lighting, the makeup, that choker. She looked flawless. She almost looked like unreal, almost like digital. She looked great. I always love when Beyonce speaks. There was one critique that I have about her speech. It's always funny that when it's our time to like stand up and our time to like really, call to action, it's always to vote. Like, that's going to be the be all of everything. And I just want to say that there's multiple tactics like in the strategy of black liberation. Like, voting is just one of them. There's organizing, there's protesting, there's commentary, there's donating, there's creating platforms, there's amplifying voices. There's so many different tactics in which we can dismantle this system, and all of them do need to be operating. So I just think it's funny when people make it the be all voting, especially putting it into context in the history of voter suppression and how difficult it is for many Americans, especially black Americans in this country, to vote. And also has this underlying tone that people aren't voting when by and by black people show up to the polls constantly because of messaging like this. So I just would like for Beyonce to be aware that there are multiple tactics in which we can dismantle white supremacy. One of them being burn this shit down, like people have been doing constantly. You see the results that we are yielding. There are multiple ways in which we can dismantle this shit. So I would just say voting, it's don't feel bad if you can't contribute to voting because the system doesn't benefit us to even be able to contribute our voices properly in the voting system. It was a very short speech, unfortunately. Like, I think Michelle Obama's introduction to Beyonce's speech was longer than that. So I would have loved to seen Beyonce a bit more throughout the award shows. They hyped her up as being like, the draw to this, part of a draw to this award show, when she was literally on the screen for like 2 minutes. Finally, we come to the end of the award show. Amanda Seales ended it well. She actually gave a bunch of tactics in which we can fight white supremacy, of speaking up, protesting, voting, just showing up, having these conversations. That was great. I love the way she ended that. She reveals at the end that she did this all from her house. I want to say big up to Amanda Seales and her production team and BT team, but like, there was no studio available for her. I don't know the logistics of it. Great job for someone doing it in just their house, but you can see, a lot of when she's like hosting throughout the show, you can see that the sound is slightly off. You can see that she's not looking directly at the camera. Maybe that would have been better in a studio. I'm not sure. Big ups to Amanda, though. You can tell it probably was not a whole bunch of people working with her in that setup. But shout out to her. I do think I would like to see her again if I was to give her a judging of how well she did this award show. A 3 out of 5. I love racial commentary, social commentary, so I think a lot of that stuff was good. I just think maybe the way she presented it, and I also will give her props for doing this in her home. And shout out to BET for picking a black woman to host this. I love the way black women carry shows. Like Alicia Keys was great with the Grammys. We love when Monique hosted the BET Awards. Bring her back. Bring her back. But overall, this was an interesting event. I will say that while I loved a lot of the production values of the performances, I definitely would have loved if we could have had a bit of escapism and all this, and just appreciated more the joy of being black, because, well, yes, trauma is a part of the black experience. It is not the totality of it. So it would have been nice to be more multifaceted and show our joy and show us the community aspect of when we get together and enjoy each other's company. I would have loved to see more of that throughout these performances, because we're all aware of this. Like, maybe if this was for the Grammys, for a more like non-black audience, maybe, but I just would have loved to seen a little less and seen us celebrating the more traumatic aspects of being black. But that's all my thoughts that I have for the BET Awards. It was an interesting experience. I watched it with my family, and surprisingly they were all on accord with me as well, just like overkill on the Black Lives Matter, and it would have been nice to have seen just more talent and joy. That's all my thoughts. Leave your comments down below. I know all y'all will voice all of those. I know all y'all will share your opinions. I can't wait to hear it. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the Crispy Knowin family, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!